Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is an addition to the Big Four series. We're talking about my experience working at a Big Four. I'll be specifically covering 3 things that I've gotten really good at since I started working at a Big Four. I have worked at a Big Four pretty much my whole career journey. I've been working for 7 years, technically 8 because I did an industrial placement, but only that industrial placement wasn't at a Big Four. The other times have been, I've worked at 2 Big Fours so far. So I pretty much know what I'm talking about when it comes to what would you expect when you want to work at a Big Four. Anyway, long story short, what are 3 things that I've learned? I've learned a lot more things than 3, but we'll stick to 3 just to keep this video short and sweet. So, first thing that I've gotten really, really good at is freestyling, or as what you'd put in a CV, adaptability. So, especially when you work in consulting, though this also applies to a lot of audit, tax, a lot of everything, all the professional services that we provide, if they're client facing, is you'll probably be put, they're project based, you'll probably be put in a project you've never worked on before. I mean, unless you're a director or a senior manager and therefore have a lot of years under your belt, but most times, especially if you're joining in the junior grades, you will be placed in a situation you've never faced before, in an industry you've never worked in before, about a topic you've never done before. And you have to hold your ground, you have to facilitate a meeting, and you have to look like you know what you're talking about. So, one thing I've really gotten good at is being able to look presentable, facilitate a session with very little preparation. Because there are times, especially COVID times, before COVID, where you would find yourself, your engagement is ending this week, you have a new one on Monday that you don't even, by the time you're logging off on Friday, you don't even know, or maybe you're finding out at 5 o'clock where you need to be on Monday, and you just show up and you only have a few minutes maybe on the train to read the prior years, or the prior phases documents, to understand what are we trying to do on this engagement, on this client. So you'll find yourself, long story short, in situations that you are not expecting, and you have to not get held up in the detail, but rather with minimal detail be able to hold your ground and facilitate an outcome out of a session. Other scenarios where you might find yourself with uncertainties or things you are not expecting. You could be in a meeting, you have set a whole agenda, you had a whole week to prepare, right? And a specific client contact attends that you're not expecting, or you have a particularly difficult client and they don't stick to the agenda you prepared. They instead throw some stray bullets that you are not expecting, and you have to be able to anticipate. Not maybe anticipate because that's out of your control, but you have to be able to um, not react impulsively, but rather manage the situation. So I've become quite good at not being thrown off by small things, if that makes sense. I'm able to be flexible depending on the situation. If I need to be assertive, I become assertive. Or if I need to be, toned down because the client is coming a bit forcefully, you could tone down, you manage the situation, reduce the tension in the room, break the tension in the room, and be able to achieve the outcome that we were setting out to achieve. So it's something that takes a lot of practice. There are many times you are boiling inside, but you cannot say nothing. You have to calm yourself down and manage the situation. And this is something that I keep getting better and better at the more and more I work on more and more projects. So yeah, being able to freestyle is a key. In fact, I think it's the only skill that you better have if you're going to join consulting or join a Big Four. You shouldn't be someone who's so fixated on this is the structure, and if you don't stick to this structure, then you're thrown off. You're going to be thrown off every day. So, yeah, that's something you need to expect. Anyway, Another skill I've gotten really, really good at is professional skepticism. Now, professional skepticism is being able to smell bullshit, simply put. So, what I mean by this is, or even a more, let's just say, a toned down way, a professional way of saying this skill is that you notice trends. You're able to analyze trends, you're able to deduce insights from data. But that's if you're specifically referring to data. In day to day, it's just being able to smell bullshit. So, how this is relevant to working at a big four is, um, especially because my previous role was in risk and it was more compliance and risk advisory, IT audit. It was more so identifying what could go wrong. So a lot of what we do involves listening to the client, interviewing different people, hearing what they have to say, understanding a process from their point of view. Now, you need to be able to remember what person A said on Monday, what person C said on Tuesday, what person E said on Wednesday, and notice, wait, do they come together to form a nice, beautiful picture, or are there gaps? So, being skeptical is actually a good thing. Now, you only just need to frame it properly so that people don't think you're mistrusting them, but all you're doing is identifying. Words you'll find yourself using is we need to align, um, we need to address the process gaps, we need to be compliant with a policy. So those are the words we use, but all we're trying to say is there is some bullshit happening here and we need to sort it out. So that's a key skill that you need. And it's one that I've developed over time. I would say this one is my strength. I don't know if it's my engineering background that's coming into play, that's helping me out. At least those 4 years were not a waste. I'm able to spot issues very quickly. Like it's something that sometimes I'm even itching. Like when someone's speaking and I'm noticing, wait, that's not the same as what you said yesterday. I'm usually itching. I'm already noting down. I take a lot of notes, by the way. Like I always have a notebook, regardless of even having one note. I'll have one note and I'll have a paper notebook. And it's the writing is not even for myself. It's a way for my mind to register. So I'll quickly remember, wait, no, that's not. But I usually, of course, have to manage how I communicate it to the client. So yeah, that's a skill I've gotten really, or rather, I probably was already good at it before just because of my math background. But yeah, it's definitely one that has become very strong since working at a big four. The last one, I'm looking down because I've written down my points. As I told you, I write, right? Anyway, the last skill, it's probably one, I don't know how you can put it on a CV, but it's one that's super important and it's one that I've learned and continue to learn. This is probably on a, if I was to put it on a skill, it's the one that needs a lot of growth, but it's one I've learned for sure. Endurance, perseverance. Hey, working at a big four, guys, is tough. It is tough. It will test your mental resilience. It will test your capacity to put up with bullshit. Guys, working at a big four is not easy. You'll have very good days, very satisfying days, days that the client even sends a note out to your partner, like, this is the best person I've worked with, hongera kwake. Then there are other days that you don't even know what has happened. Like you will literally be like, am I okay? What's going on? Like shit hits the fan and it hits the fan hard, like proper. And you're feeling like, okay, you know what? I quit. But you can't. So it really tests your resilience. And what I'm having to learn is to detach myself from my outcomes, from my work. Work is just something I'm doing. It's like if you're cooking, and I'm actually becoming, no, let me not say this. But I'm realizing I'm using a lot of analogies like someone I know. And honestly, the analogies really help drive a point home. So um, if you're cooking and you burn the onion, what happens? Are you going to kill yourself because you burnt the onion? No, you're just going to throw away the onion, put new onion, and continue moving like it didn't even happen. So why is it when it comes to work and you mess up a little bit, why do I act? I'll talk to myself. Why do I act like the world is coming to an end? Like, this is something you have to learn to just build that muscle of resilience, of being able to bring yourself back to what you were doing, focus on that, and not look at it as a reflection of yourself. It's probably something people of color struggle with because we're trying to prove ourselves too much. But I will not get tired of saying to myself and to others that your good outweighs the bad. Like, don't take it to heart. Don't take things personally. Something could happen outside of your control. Maybe something the client has mentioned to you that throws you off. You're like, wait, was that a personal attack on me? Don't overthink it. Please do not, because sometimes it's even the issue is them, not you. Sometimes the issue is circumstances beyond your control, and you have to honestly survive. Also, it could be things are just shit. Like, it could just be everyone is on annual leave and there's a deadline, and you have to work three people's jobs for that week. It's just a shit situation. It's not you. It's just a shit situation, and you need to get past it. It could be someone didn't tell you about a meeting and you're realizing 5 minutes past when you're getting pinged, like, where are you? And it's a meeting where you're the key presenter. Guys, shit happens and it'll continue to happen, and you have to just wing it sometimes. You just have to get past the day, go and sleep it off. Next day will be a good day. And also, something I'll finish off with that my career coach tells me, your thoughts become your results. It's not, circumstances are things out of your control, but what you think of them drives how you feel about them, and therefore what you do about them. And if you control your thoughts, you'll be surprised how you will not be moved by small, small things or even big things. You'll not be moved. It's all about how you decide to react to the situation. And that really drives how bad or how good your day becomes. So, yeah, I will finish my TED talk now. Let me know if you're enjoying this series, what type of content you want to see, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.